Hi, I'm Steve McNally from Korg, and I'd like to welcome you to our video presentation, Getting to Know the Korg PA80. The PA80 really is the most complete and powerful professional arranger keyboard available today, representing Korg's many years of experience in the professional keyboard industry. The instrument features the same sound engine used in Korg's award-winning Triton series workstations, offering no less than 660 of the highest quality sounds in the industry. These sounds include a new stereo grand piano, plus a selection of solo instruments made especially for the PA80. Also new is our digital drawbars section, which gives you the flexibility to recreate the authentic sounds of those classic vintage drawbar organs. These sounds are processed by 4 independent digital effect processors, offering a total of 90 professional quality effects. Despite having this awesome power on the inside, the PA80 is presented in an easy-to-use portable package, which manages to integrate just about every tool you'll ever need to create any kind of music, from the 61-key aftertouch sensitive keyboard to the huge backlit interactive LCD screen and the powerful internal amplification system, which features an auto loudness device to deliver crisp, distortion-free sound to the instrument's 4 bass-ported speakers. The instrument also has 2 external inputs, so you can run your microphone, guitar, or any other instrument through the PA80 sound system, making use of the onboard digital effects or the optional vocal and guitar processor board. The style section on the PA80 offers no less than 304 interactive accompaniment styles created by some of the world's top musicians. Each style has 8 musical tracks and offers 4 variations, 2 intros, 2 fills, and 2 endings. Plus, the number of available styles can be instantly expanded using our direct from floppy disk and direct from hard disk style selection options. Of course, no arranger keyboard would be complete without the sequencer, but here, the PA80 goes one step further by offering you not 1, but 2 independent sequencers with our revolutionary new XDS dual sequencer. Each sequencer is a complete, fully featured MIDI file player with the ability to play songs direct from disk while displaying the song lyrics on the built-in screen. The XDS sequencer even features a crossfader control, which lets you make smooth transitions between songs, just like a DJ. Creating your own songs doesn't have to be a complicated business either. The PA80's backing sequencer lets you record a multi-track song in one take, just by playing live on the keyboard, or you can use parts of the accompaniment to build up your song easily, with the ability to change chords, add, remove drum fills, and create complete arrangements in ways that are simply not available with traditional sequencers. Despite its simplicity, the songs you create with the backing sequencer are real MIDI files and can be edited in the PA80's song mode or a computer's software sequencer, just like any professionally produced MIDI song. The PA80 also has a multitasking operating system, which means you can load in new sounds, styles, and songs from disk while you're playing. This operating system is upgradable too, allowing completely new features to be added to the instrument as they become available. You can also customize your PA80 to fit your needs, choosing from a range of options like the vocal guitar processor board, which features a 4-part vocal harmonizer and a guitar multi-effects processor. The video interface board, which lets you display your song lyrics, karaoke style, on any TV or video projector. The internal hard disk, which gives you the capacity to store thousands of songs, styles, and sounds right inside the keyboard. Or you can add any of our special PA80 flash memory cards, which give you instant access to specialized sounds and styles. In this video, we're going to take a tour through the main features of the PA80, showing you how to edit the performances and styles, how to play songs, and even how to record your own songs and styles. Before we get started, you might want to set up your keyboard or reposition your TV so you can follow along with the examples while you're watching. Okay, let's get started. The PA80 contains over 660 professional quality sounds. Each individual sound is called a program. After switching the instrument on, press the Program button in the mode section here on the left side, and you're ready to start selecting different sounds. These buttons here, marked Program Performance, are where you can find all of the individual sound programs in the PA80. Above and below each button, you can see the name of a sound family. This button on the left, called the row selector, is used to select either the upper row or the lower row of names. When the top light is on, pressing one of these buttons will select the sound family whose name is written above the button. When the bottom light is on, the buttons will select the families written below. When we first switch the instrument on, the main grand piano sound is selected for us. We can see that the large title bar in the screen shows us the name of the currently selected sound. Let's try a different sound from the piano family. Since piano is printed above the button, we need to make sure that the row selector is pointing to the top row of names. And now we can select the piano family. If we look in the screen now, we can see the names of 8 different types of piano sound. Now that we've selected the piano family, we can use the buttons around the screen to switch between the different piano sounds. To select any sound, just press one of the buttons next to its name. Now, these buttons are in pairs, but it doesn't matter which of the two you use. For example, let's select this electric grand piano using either of these 2 buttons here. This pointer indicates the new sound we've selected. We can also see its name in large letters at the top here. Let's have a listen. Now we'll try a sound from the guitar family. First, we select the new family, and then pick one of the sounds. The sounds we can see in the screen are only the first 8 programs in the guitar family. Here on the right side of the screen, you can see it says page 1. These buttons let us move to the next page of sounds. If we press page plus, we see the next 8 guitar sounds. If you keep turning the page, you can see just how many different sounds there are in this one family. Page minus goes back while page plus goes forward. So take as much time as you want to explore the hundreds of different programs inside the PA80. Before we leave the subject of programs, there's one special family here which works a little differently from the others. It's called digital drawbars, and it's used to simulate the classic vintage drawbar organ sound. Drawbar organs produce their unique sounds by mixing together a number of much simpler sounds called footages. Originally designed to emulate a pipe organ where the rich sounds were created by mixing together pipes of different lengths, the drawbar organ went a step further by offering a series of sliders to adjust the volume for each different simulated pipe. And with the PA80's digital drawbars, that's exactly what we have. This organ sound is not a sample, but a combination of real drawbar footages, just like a vintage organ. The screen shows us 8 different sounds, or footages, which are being combined in different amounts to create the organ sound we're listening to. Now, some of these footages show a volume level, while a few of them are currently switched off. To change the sound, just adjust the volume levels of these different footages. Now, there are 2 different ways to do this. First, select a footage, and then use either of the 2 buttons beside it to adjust its volume. You can also use the wheel. Let's bring in some of these footages that are switched off. You can also use the joystick to control the speed of the rotary speaker effect. When your PA80 left the factory, it was pre-programmed with 80 beautiful sound combinations called performances. These performances give us an opportunity to hear some of the best sounds of the PA80 at the touch of a single button. That grand piano sound that we heard when we first turned the instrument on is actually the first of these factory pre-programmed performances. It not only sets up the piano sound, but also selects the right volume levels and effects to show the sound at its best. It's actually useful to know how to get the instrument back to this main grand piano sound whenever we want. To do this, we need to switch from program mode to style mode, and then press the performance button. And we've already used these program performance buttons to select the individual sound groups on the PA80. When we're in performance mode, we ignore these sound group names and instead use these same buttons to access the 10 different performance groups. You can see the performance group number written at the lower right corner of each button. Pressing button number 1 will call up the first group of performances in the screen. Each group contains 8 performances, and the screen is now showing us the names of the 8 performances in group 1. Now that we've selected the group, we can use the buttons around the screen to switch between the various performances in this group. Our main piano sound is this first one here, called Stereo Grand. To select any of the other performances, just press one of the buttons next to its name, the same way we did for selecting programs. Let's try string piano. This performance is a layer of 2 sounds, piano and strings. Let's try another one. This performance uses a split keyboard setting. We have a string sound in the left hand and a piano sound in the right. Performances allow you to instantly recall complex settings such as layers and splits at the touch of a single button. Let's listen to some of the performances in Group 2. Just press the Group 2 button and now we can see 8 different names in the screen. Just like in program mode, we can still see the name of the last performance we selected here at the top. Even though we switched to a different group, we haven't selected a new performance yet. Let's try this soprano sax. This is another split keyboard setting. You might also have noticed that the effects have changed. This sax sound in the right hand has a delay effect, which is very popular for this type of sound. The performance changed the sounds, it split the keyboard, and it selected new effects for us. As you become more familiar with the PA80, you can reprogram these performances with your own favorite sound combinations. Let's make some changes to this performance. At the moment, we can see the performance name in the screen, but we can't see any of the individual sounds that it's made up from. For instance, what's this sound in the left hand? If you want to see how a performance is made, just press the Exit button. Now we can make any changes that we want. Once again, the screen shows us 8 sounds. We'll talk about these sounds on the left later on. The sounds we're concerned with at the moment are these ones in the right column. 2 of these sounds have this little keyboard icon next to them. That simply means that they're turned on. These other 2, calliope and acoustic piano, are turned off. To turn a sound on or off, just press both of the buttons at the side together. Now we have 2 sounds in the right hand, soprano sax and calliope. There's a 3rd sound here available, but we'll leave that off for now. The top 3 sounds in this list are always assigned to the right or upper side of the keyboard. This last one, dark pad, is the sound that you can hear on the left or lower side of the keyboard. These buttons at the side can also be used as a mixer to adjust the volume levels of these 4 sounds, which, as the buttons will tell you, are called upper 1, upper 2, upper 3, and lower. Select the sound you want to adjust the volume of, and then hold the left button to reduce the volume and the right button to increase it. Now let's change one of these sounds. I want to change this soprano sax to a nice tenor. First, let's turn off that calliope sound. And before you go to change a sound, it's really important to make sure that the arrow is pointing to the sound you intend to change. To change a sound within a performance, we need to press the Program button here on the right. Okay, now let's delve into the sax family here on the bottom row. Let's try this soft tenor. We've changed the volumes, selected a new sound, and now the only thing left to do is give it a name and tell the machine where we want to store it. First, press Write. To change the name, select the first line of the display. You can select any character or number with the dial. And then move up to the next character by pressing the Up button and select it in the same way. Once we've entered our new name, we can select the second line of the display. Here, we can see the location and name of the original factory performance we started with, soprano sax. The location is shown as 02-4, which means the 4th performance in group 2. You can either accept this choice and replace the old performance with this new one, or you can use the dial to choose any other location among the 80 performances. I think I'll just put it in the same place as the original. To complete the operation, press Enter. And the screen will ask, "Are you sure?" If you do want to save it, press Yes. If you don't, press No. If you do choose the No option, you'll need to press the Style Play button one more time to get back to the main screen. The PA80 has 304 onboard accompaniment styles, which can be selected using the Style Group buttons here on the left side of the keyboard. The title bar of the screen tells us which style is currently selected. At the moment, the selected style is groove ballad. Since we already have a split keyboard set up, let's try playing our new performance with this style. Now, just play a chord on the left and press Start Stop when you're ready to play. Although we're still using the performance sounds we made in the last example, each style comes complete with 4 ready-made sound combinations, which give you the recommended instruments for that style. These sound combinations are called single touch settings, and you can select them by simply pressing one of the 4 buttons along the bottom of the screen. It's as simple as that. Every style comes with 4 ready-made single-touch settings, so you sound great the moment you start playing. Let's try a different style. Selecting styles works exactly the same way as selecting programs. First, we select a style group from the top or bottom row, and then just choose one of the styles in that group using the buttons around the screen. Let's try a big band style from the Jazz 2 group. Each style has 4 variations, which allow you to build your accompaniment as the song progresses. Let's start with variation 1 and work through to variation 4. Notice that the music will subtly change depending on different chord types that you play. Now here's variation 4 when you play a G major chord. Now here's variation 4, same variation, when you play a G7 chord. These are called chord variations, and the PA80 does this automatically for you. To add a little extra variety to your playing, you can choose between 2 different fills. Fill number 1, fill 2, or a 1-measure break. When it's time to finish, you have a choice of 2 different endings. Here's number 1. And ending number 2, which is less complex with no chord changes. There are a number of different ways to start your song as well. You can start with a professional intro. Let's press the Intro 1 button and play the first chord of our song. Now, whenever you're ready to start, press Start Stop. Or, for an intro over which you can play your own chord changes, there's Intro 2. You can even start with fills or even start with endings. These style controls offer complete flexibility whatever your playing style. And speaking of playing styles, if you've been brought up playing piano, then you may not be used to playing left-hand chords below the split point in this way. The chord scanning buttons let you choose which part of the keyboard controls the styles. For this example, let's use Miss Bossa from the Latin 1 style bank. At the moment, the lower button is selected. But if you prefer, you can change the chords with the right hand by selecting upper. The chord will change when you play 3 or more notes at the same time. And for you piano players, just press both the lower and upper buttons together to select full keyboard scanning. Now there's no split, and we can play piano style across the whole keyboard. And again, the chord will change when you play 3 or more notes. Changing the sounds, volume levels, effects, or any other part of a style is easy on the PA80. Let's use this standard 8-beat style to demonstrate. Now, there are 2 different ways to view the tracks used in any style. First, let's press the exit button to get back to our main screen. You may remember that we've already used the right-hand part of the screen to edit the sounds when we're making our performance. On the left side, you can see the drums, bass, and accompaniment parts that we're listening to in this style. The controls at the side can be used in the same way to quickly adjust the volumes. If you want to control the volume of all the style parts individually, press the small track select button here at the bottom of the screen. Now we can see all of the 8 different sounds used in this style. These first 2 are drum kit and percussion kit, and next we see the bass. These little icons at the side will help you remember which is which. These 5 other sounds are used to generate all the other accompaniment that you can hear. For example, this style features a very prominent picking guitar sound. I think it's probably this steel guitar sound here in accompaniment 2. We can check by temporarily muting the track. That's the one. Let's try putting a different sound in this track. It's exactly the same procedure we've used to change sounds before. Press the Program button, select the guitar bank, and we'll try this clean guitar sound here. We can now hear the same track playing, but with our new sound. To get back to our main screen again, just press the Exit button. And now we can see our new sound in that track. You can change any of the sounds in this style in exactly the same way. If you want to delve even deeper into style editing, just press the menu button at the left side of the screen, and you'll find many other options for editing each of these tracks. All of these options are explained in Section 9 of your PA80 User's Manual. For now though, that should be enough to get you started. If you like the changes you've made to this style and you want to store them, just press the right button and follow the same steps we used before when we saved a performance. The PA80 features the most flexible and powerful song player in the business, the XDS Dual Sequencer. The XDS Dual Sequencer is unlike any other keyboard sequencer because its design is based on the most popular type of instant song player in the world, a DJ's dual turntable. In the same way that a DJ console has two separate turntables or two CD players, the XDS Sequencer has two separate MIDI file players. Right here below the screen, you can see these two players, called Sequencer 1 and Sequencer 2. In between these two players is a crossfade or balance slider. Again, just like on a DJ console. This slider lets you mix smoothly between the song in player 1 and the song in player 2 without ever having to stop the music while you scramble to load the next disc. Loading songs into the XDS sequencer couldn't be easier. First, insert a disc containing a few MIDI files and press the song play button in the Modes section. Here on the screen you can see S1 and S2, which refer to Sequencer 1 and Sequencer 2 respectively. To load a song into Sequencer 1, just select S1. Now we see a list of the MIDI files on this disc. This pointer here at the top indicates the song which is ready to be selected. You can position any song next to this pointer by using the dial. When the song you want is sitting right next to the pointer, choose Select by pressing the F2 button at the bottom of the screen. That's it. We now have a song ready to play in Sequencer 1. You can see its name here in the screen where it says S1. Before we listen to it, let's load a different song into Sequencer 2. It's exactly the same procedure, only this time we start by selecting S2. Once again, we see our list of songs. Let's dial up a different song and press Select, just like before. Now we have two songs ready to play. Let's put the balance slider in the middle. And now we can listen to the song in Sequencer 1 by pressing its play button. So, here's song number 1. Remember though, we already have another song ready to go in Sequencer 2. Let's play that one as well. Now, we have both songs playing at the same time. The balance slider is used to mix between the two different songs. If we move it to the left towards Sequencer 1, we hear the first song. And if we move it towards Sequencer 2, we can listen to the second song. Now in a live situation, the PA80 is the only keyboard which lets you play non-stop music all night long. Get it? While the song is playing, the keyboard of the PA80 continues to play as before. Here on the right side of the screen, you can see the 4 sounds we dealt with earlier when we were making our performance. All of these sounds are still available for you to play on the keyboard while the song is playing. You can still change any of these, layering up to 3 sounds together, and even have a split keyboard using this 4th sound just like we did before. Now over here on the left side of the screen is the lyrics function. Many MIDI files today come complete with karaoke-style lyrics, which can be viewed by selecting this function. Since we have two songs, we can select which lyrics to display. With some standard MIDI files, even the chord information can be displayed on the top. The XDS sequencer also offers a jukebox function which allows you to prepare a list of up to 127 songs in advance. These songs will then play continuously. In the next section, we're going to look at how we can record your own songs on the PA80. The PA80's unique backing sequencer lets you record your own songs in the easiest and quickest possible way. We're going to record a song just by playing on the keyboard, exactly the same way we do when we're in style play mode. In fact, we're going to switch to style play mode now to get everything ready for our first recording. I select style play and I go to the 8/16 beat 1 bank because I'm going to use the style Love 8-beat, so like that, because it's a good style for doing the Beatles song Yesterday. Now's the time to practice playing your song until you're ready for your first recording session. When you think you are ready, just press the backing sequencer button in the Mode section. Now, of course, we have to press Record. And select this first option in the screen, Real-Time Recording. That's it. We're all set. You'll notice that if you press the red Start-Stop button, nothing happens. That's because we haven't started the sequencer running yet. We start the sequencer by pressing the Sequencer 1 Play Stop button. We also need to start the style in the normal way by pressing the Start Stop button. It's a simple case of pressing one right after the other. First the Sequencer 1 Play Stop button, and then the red Start Stop button. The instrument will give us a 1 measure count in. After that, we're ready to start playing. Here goes.
Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, why did yesterday?
You can finish by just pressing Start Stop, or if you prefer, use one of the endings. Now we need to tell the sequencer that we've finished recording. Just press the Sequencer 1 Play Stop button again. And that's our first song recorded. We can listen to it now by pressing the Sequencer 1 Play Stop button. Not bad. If you made a mistake and you want to re-record, there are two different ways you can do this. You can either play the whole thing again, or you can choose to re-record just one of the parts. The backing sequencer divides each recording into two tracks. In PA80 terminology, they're known as the chord accompaniment track and the real-time/pads track, respectively. The chord accompaniment track contains everything that came from the style section, including the chords, plus the fills, intros, endings, and variations information. The real-time track contains everything else you played. It's that simple. Let's go back into recording mode and look at how we can fix any mistakes we made. Okay, let's press record and select Real-Time Recording Mode. The two different tracks can be seen here at the bottom of the screen, the real-time track and the chord accompaniment track. We can also see that both of these tracks are currently set to record. If you want to re-record the entire song again, just press play stop and start stop like before and play the song through one more time. Now, because these two tracks are separate, you can keep one of the tracks while you record the other. Let's say we want to keep the chord accompaniment track and record the melody part or the real-time track. Let's select the chord accompaniment track and change it from record to play with the dial. Now the real-time track is ready to record, while the chord accompaniment track is going to play back without recording. We can start our recording session by pressing play stop again. When we're finished, we just press the play stop to tell the machine we're done. The chord accompaniment track can be edited in two different ways. The first way is just to re-record it again. But what if you just played one wrong chord, or you simply pressed the fill button in the wrong place? You don't need to record the whole track again. Just press record and select this second option in the screen, chord accompaniment step mode. This screen is a kind of freeze frame which shows us something that happened during the recording of the chord accompaniment track. In order to know how far into the song we are, the first line of the display shows us the measure or bar number that we're currently looking at. Here it says M001, which means simply measure 1. The number after the first point tells us which beat of that measure we're looking at. Since it says 01, this must be the first beat of the bar. This last set of numbers allows us to pinpoint exactly whereabouts in the beat we are. Each beat is broken down into 192 microscopic little parts, but we don't really need this level of accuracy for this simple example, but it may help you to know what all these numbers mean for the future. What we are interested in is this stuff down at the bottom of the screen, which tells us what exactly happened at this point in time. The very last line shows us that an F major chord was played at this point. If we select the first line of the screen here, the dial can be used to step through each event which occurred in the track. Here. This shows that there's something happening. The screen is now telling us that somewhere during the first beat of measure 2, an E minor 7 chord was played. Whenever you come across something that's changed, the machine will inform you by placing these arrows next to whatever it is that has changed. In this case, the arrows appear next to the chord name. Let's find the next change. All right, here's the A7. Let's keep going. And here's the D minor 7th. Let's imagine that this was the wrong chord. Maybe we think it might sound better with an F major 7th. To change the chord, you first need to select it. Now there are two different ways to put in the right chord. If you know the correct chord, you can just play it anywhere on the keyboard. If you don't know how to play the chord on the keyboard, you can use the dial and the buttons below the screen to change the chord name manually. Change this to F. Change this to major 7. Now before we leave this screen, here on the right you can see this section marked SE. SE stands for Style Element, and this is where you can see which style control buttons you pressed during the recording. Things like the fill, variation, intro, and ending buttons, just like we saw with the chord changes. Whenever you come across a change in one of these style elements, an arrow will appear next to it. Here you can insert things that you forgot to do the first time around. In fact, let's put a fill 2 right here. Then go to measure 4, and we'll have it go to variation 2. Now, let's listen to what we've done. All we do is just come out of record mode and press the play stop button. Here's our chord change, our fill. We're now into variation 2. Now you won't see the variation and fill buttons light up, but the changes are all there inside of the song. Now you can even go to song mode and edit, copy, paste, even add extra tracks to your song. What we've just created in a few minutes using the backing sequencer is a professional sounding multi-track MIDI file that would have taken hours to produce if we'd used a conventional sequencer. Now we can save this song onto a disc as a standard MIDI file. This song can be played by another keyboard or computer, and the best part is, nobody except us will ever have to know that we didn't spend hours laboriously programming each track. You can see the Save Song option right here in the screen. Just insert a blank, formatted disc, and then select Save Song. This screen should be familiar by now. I'm not going to change the name this time. Let's just press Save. And we press Yes to confirm. That's it. We just made our first MIDI file on the PA80. As an extra little exercise, you could try loading this new song into the XDS sequencer and playing it from there. Oh, and don't forget, you should protect that disc. It might be worth something someday. Although the PA80 comes complete with 304 professionally programmed styles, the instrument also offers up to 48 locations where you can store new styles. These are found in the User 1, User 2, and User 3 banks. You can create a new style either by editing one of the existing styles or by programming something completely new from scratch. You can also choose from a huge library of ready-made styles available on floppy disks. In this section, we're going to look at how to make your own styles on the PA80. Now in Section 9 of your user's manual, you'll find a diagram which shows the structure of a single style. While this diagram shows us how versatile the PA80 style system is, it also demonstrates how much work goes into creating a complete professional style, with 4 variations, 2 intros, 2 endings, 2 fills. One of the easiest ways to create a new style is to take one of the existing styles and then change it around by adding or deleting parts. This is also a great way to become more familiar with the different elements of a style and to understand how they all fit together. To start, we need to be in Style Play mode. Now let's select the style that we're going to change. For this example, we'll use the first style in the 8/16 beat 1 group, Soft Beat. Next, we press Record, and we select Current Style. This screen lets us select which part or element of the style we're going to edit. This first line is probably the only thing you need to understand at this stage. The letter E stands for element, and next to this we see V1, which means variation 1. Next to this we see CV1, which means chord variation 1. If you select this line, you can use the dial or the F1, F2 function keys to select any other element, say a different variation or fill or ending. But for now, let's just leave everything the way it is and make a few changes to variation 1. To see the musical tracks, just press Track Select. So, here are the 8 tracks that make up variation 1 of the soft beat style. We can listen to the way it sounds at the moment by pressing Start Stop. We've seen this type of track layout before when we were changing the sounds in a style. Just to recap, the tracks are drums, percussion, bass, and the 5 different accompaniment instruments. Let's try adding some extra percussion. Just select the percussion track and you can have a little practice. When you're ready to record some changes, just press Start Stop and you're ready to go. If you make a mistake and you want to remove something, just hold down the Delete button. And at the same time, hold down the key that you want to delete. Well, that was easy enough. You can record any of the other tracks in exactly the same way. Once you've finished editing your style, you'll probably want to save it. Just press the right button. Beneath the usual line where we can change the name, there's an option to tell the instrument where to put our new style. There are 3 user style groups and each group can contain 16 styles. At the moment, it's suggesting 0101, which means group 1, style number 1. You can use the dial to select any other location. Now all the other locations are probably full, so let's find a location that contains a style you're not likely to use. To complete the save operation, press the Enter or Yes button. And yes again. All done. Your new style should now be in one of those user banks. I saved mine into the last location of group 3. Let's see if it's there. It's there. Once you're familiar with editing styles in this way, making a completely new style from scratch is virtually the same process. There's just a lot more work for you to do. To begin, make sure you're in Style Play mode and press Record and select New Style. We already know how to select the different style elements in the first line here. Variation 1 is always selected for you as a starting point. If you want to start by programming a different element, just select it here. Let's just concentrate on the most important features. Here on the right is my metronome, which will give me a click track to keep time with. Let's turn that on. The only other thing I'm going to use here is the resolution parameter, which will automatically quantize or correct my timing in real time, correcting all of my little timing inaccuracies for me as I play. Let's set the value to 16th notes. Here at the bottom we can see it says C major. This is the key that the instrument expects me to play in, and that's fine for me. If you're happier playing in a different key, then just change this parameter. You can play in any key you like. The only important thing is that the key you intend to play in is the same as what's displayed here. Okay, we're ready to press Track Select. So here's the same screen we saw before. The only difference is that this time all the tracks are completely empty. It's always best to start with some drums. Let's select the drum track. And we're ready to start. Remember that we set a 1 measure count in, so be ready to start after 4 beats. Now the pattern is playing repetitively in a 2 measure loop. You only need to play each instrument for 2 measures. If you keep playing beyond 2 measures and you'll duplicate the notes, and you already played those, and it can sound pretty bad. Okay, that'll do it for the hi-hat. Now let's add the bass drum. And snare. Now for a bass line. We'll select the bass track, think I want a different sound here. So we select the bass track and select the bass bank. And I'm going to choose fretless bass. Now to get back to our style track screen, press exit. And we're ready to play some bass. Remember that we have to play in the key of C major. Let's just do one more track because I'm sure you're starting to get the hang of this. Let's select accompaniment track 1. And we'll try a different sound here too. Maybe an electric piano. So we'll go to the electric piano bank and select this vintage EP. And get back to the other screen, press exit, and we're ready to go. Remember, 1 measure count in and play in the key of C. So there we have 3 tracks in variation 1 of our new style. And don't get too carried away at programming variation 1. Remember, this is supposed to be the simplest of the 4 variations. For more information about all the other controls here, see section 9 of your user's manual. For now, let's save our new style. Press right, select the style name and the storage location, and then press enter to confirm. Now, let's try our new style in style play mode. Press style play. The quickest and easiest way to put new styles into your PA80 is to choose from the extensive library of styles available on disk from Korg and other third-party software companies. If you've upgraded to the PA80 from another Korg Arranger keyboard, such as the i2 i3 series or the i30 IS40 series, you'll be pleased to know that all your existing style disks can still be used with the PA80. The styles are automatically converted to work in the PA80 as they are loaded. Remember that the PA80 has 3 user style banks called User 1, User 2, and User 3. And each of these banks can hold up to 16 new styles. When we load new styles into the keyboard, the only thing we'll need to specify is where we want the instrument to put them. The user banks in your PA80 may already contain some styles, or they may all be empty. Let's check to see what's in our user banks at the moment. The factory styles are backed up on the factory disk, so we'll load our new styles into User Bank 3. Start by inserting the style disk into the drive. And press the disk button. Now press the F1 button. What we're looking for is a file that has the letters STY after its name. When you first press disk, you might see this STY file when you scroll through the disk contents with the dial. Some disks may only show one item at first, like this disk that shows us a folder called set. This set is just one large folder which has all the other stuff inside. You can see the folder icon on the left, which tells us that there's more inside. To open it, just press the Open button here at the bottom. Now we can see what's inside this set folder. Scroll through with the dial and look for one of those .sty files. There we go. Again, we can see the little folder icon on the left. That tells us that this is a group of styles. We can either load the entire group, or we can open this folder and load just one of the styles from that group. To load the whole group, press Load at the bottom of the screen. Now, the instrument wants to know which of the 3 user banks we'd like to load this group of new styles into. Let's select Group 3, since we know that it's okay to write over. Are you sure? Yes. After the wait message has disappeared, our new styles will be ready to use. Let's go to the User 3 bank. And here are our new styles. The optional vocal guitar processor board puts the power of 2 different professional effects processors right inside your PA80. Used with a guitar, it offers a 3-band equalizer, overdrive, distortion, compressor, noise reduction, and cabinet resonator effects. Used with a microphone, the board adds compressor, chorus, or delay, 3-band EQ and reverb effects, plus a powerful 4-part vocal harmonizer, transforming the sound of your solo voice into a full vocal group. The vocal guitar processor board is already installed in my PA80. Now, to use the board, first connect your guitar or microphone to one of the input jacks on the back panel and adjust the gain. Now press the global button and go to page 14, Audio and Configuration. To do this, press Menu, select Out, In, Configuration. Now we're on page 13, so we page plus up to page 14. Right now it shows us that input 1 and 2 are going into the internal effects of the PA80, not the vocal harmony processor. To put this into the vocal processor, we select it and change it to 1-2 vocal guitar. Next, we can choose whether we want to use the guitar effects or the vocal effects. Press page plus until you get to page 17 and set the mode parameter to specify which type of effects you want to use, vocal or guitar. On pages 17 through 20, you'll find a variety of options which control the effect settings. These options are explained in detail in section 14 of your user's manual. Once we have the effects sounding exactly the way we want, our changes can be stored into one of the 16 onboard harmony sets so that they can be recalled when selecting a style or performance. To store your settings, press the right button and select the vocal guitar parameter at the bottom. Pick one of the harmony set locations to store your settings and press Enter, and press Enter again to confirm. When you need to recall these settings in the future, just press the menu button, select Input Pad, and dial up the harmony set number you need. Now let's take a listen to this harmonizer.
La 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 la.
The optional PA80 video interface board lets you display song lyrics in karaoke style on any TV or video projector. This board slots neatly into the back panel of the instrument, giving you quick and easy access to the 2 video connectors. The sounds and styles of the PA80 can be instantly expanded by installing one of our flash expansion cards. Each card gives you instant access to exciting new sounds and styles at the touch of a button. Each card is dedicated to a particular musical style or area of special interest, like our Real Drums card featuring 16 new styles played by a live studio drummer, or the card which features authentic Turkish Arabic styles, drums, and instruments. Ask your Korg dealer about the latest expansion cards available for the PA80, or visit our website at www.korgpa.com. The PA80 can be fitted with an optional hard disk. The hard disk allows you to store thousands of songs, styles, and sounds right inside the instrument, while you leave that pile of floppy disks at home. Styles can also be played directly from the hard disk using our Direct HD feature, giving you hundreds of styles at your fingertips. At Korg, we're constantly working to find new ways for you to get the most out of your PA80. Although the instrument is already packed with powerful features, We're continuing to add completely new features as well as enhancing those that already exist. As we develop these new features, they are available to you free of charge in the form of operating system upgrades. For example, version 3.0 features sampling, event edit, step record, import-export of WAV files, plus additional performance locations. You can upgrade your PA80 yourself. In fact, there may already be new features available that you don't yet have in your instrument. To check which operating system you have, hold down the Shift button and press Enter and Exit together. Now, press Exit to come away from that screen. Now, go to our website at www.korgpa.com and check to see what the latest version is. If the version number is higher than the one you currently have, you can download the newest version directly from our website. Just select the appropriate file for either PC or Mac and follow the instructions to create a new PA80 system disk. Installing the new operating system couldn't be simpler. With your PA80 turned off, insert the operating system disk in the drive and switch the instrument on. Then just follow the simple instructions in the screen. You can even download updates to your user's manual which fully explain the new features we've added. Well, we've come to the end of our tour covering the main features of the PA80. We hope you found this video informative and that it's helped you to become a little more familiar with the powerful features offered by this incredible instrument. The Korg PA80 really is the most versatile professional arranger keyboard available today, and we're glad to have you as part of our family.